Games trials. He looks fairly relaxed, very proud to be representing the Canadians.
Before Night Lovell would first start producing music under the alias KLNV.
I'd like produce for Chris Travis and stuff. That's the homie. How do you know that, bro?
Before Night Lovell would break out as a rapper with his viral hit song Dart Lights in 2014.
But the turning point was when I dropped my first album. From there, I could tell that people on the internet were catching on.
Before Night Lovell would have 98,000 followers on Twitter, 640,000 followers on Instagram, and over 580,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time of this recording. Canadian rapper and producer Night Lovell has always embraced the dark and mysterious sensibility. Now, ever since his debut on the music scene, his tense beats and haunting vocals, they've kept his fans mystified and looking for more of his unique signature style. Now, Night Lovell, he's always felt most comfortable in the shadows.
For some reason, I'm somehow really connected to the night. That's why I only make music when it's dark out. That's when Night Lovell comes out.
But long before he was Night Lovell or even producer, KLNV for that matter, well, he was a young man growing up on the streets of Canada's capital, Ottawa, Ontario. Now, he's always represented where he's from with tenacity. He told Complex, "I want to show people that you can do things on your own terms and still be successful, no matter where you live. I love Canada and I love Ottawa. I'm excited to show everyone what inspires me and where my music comes from."
613, 613, 613.
Night's music began in the streets of Ottawa, made its way onto SoundCloud, and is now set to take the music scene by storm. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden back at it again with a new come-up story, this time taking a look at the career of Night Lovell prior to fame, here for you, of course, and before they're famous. Now, this is the newest entry in our collaboration series, which means that this biography, it'll have some insider information that you won't find anywhere else. So if you're a fan of Night Lovell's already, or if you've never heard of him until today, well, either way, you're going to enjoy this video. It's jam-packed with all sorts of stuff that came from the horse's mouth. Also, it feels good to be, like celebrating other Canadian artists. So, whatever the hell that just was, let's keep it. let's run the intro. That was embarrassing. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! Night Lovell was born Shermar Paul on May 29, 1997 in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Now, he grew up in the west end of Ottawa, also known as Nepean, where, as he told previous media outlets in the past, well, nothing ever really happens. Now, I've actually got a writer on staff who used to live out there as a kid, and he can attest to that. Place is a total snooze fest. In fact, I've partied practically everywhere in Canada, and I skipped Nepean. Nepean? Nepean, that's it.
In some of your songs you say, trapped in the damn city, they know I made it from Canada to Philly.
It's when I say stuff like that, I'm referring to like where I'm from. So like the city I'm from, Ottawa, is like kind of behind. That's why I always like refer to Ottawa and not just Canada.
Now, in terms of his heritage, well, Night is one of the few Canadian artists who unabashedly represents where they come from. Now, he's even got an 1855 tattoo on his chest that documents the year Ottawa was incorporated.
They're more like when they see me, it's more of like a thank you for taking Ottawa around, you know what I mean, and showing people Ottawa and stuff. So yeah, it's good, man. It's a blessing.
But where he's from isn't the only thing that influences his music. In fact, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And that's not a Canadian pun? Well, maybe it is. Anyway, let's move on. Now, growing up, Night, he would mainly listen to hip-hop acts including Jay-Z, Biggie, and Wiz Khalifa.
What does inspire you in terms of like movies, books, music, or persons?
James Cameron, 100%.
And while he would get into rock acts later on in his life, like AC/DC, well, his primary musical influences always stem from two people, his mom and his dad. Now, Night's mom, she's from St. Lucia, and she would always be playing soca music for a night around the house. And not only was he always bumping to great music like that, well, he was also heavily shaped by his Jamaican father, rapper MC Renegade. Now, Night's father has supported him throughout his entire life, and he's been the single biggest influence in his career, continually encouraging him and reassuring him that his music is exceptional.
My dad was cool. He lives in Toronto now, actually. So he was cool. He made music himself. He's always like, music's like his first love, just like mine, so.
Did he play like an instrument?
Nah, he rapped.
Now, before we get too ahead of ourselves in terms of Night's musical journey, well, let's slow down a bit to take a look at some other elements from his childhood. Now, from a young age, well, Night, he was always super into cars and video games. Now, he's particularly good at games like RuneScape and Call of Duty.
Then there's the PC games. I used to play RuneScape, MapleStory, Latale, you name it.
So yeah, I'm into all video games.
He attended St. Paul's Catholic High School, where his favorite classes, they were always English and gym. In fact, Knight's always been a pretty remarkable athlete. Not a lot of people know this, but he used to run track, and his 200-meter best time was 21.5. Now, even went as far as being on Team Canada and participating in the Youth Olympics in Nanjing, China. In fact, he told XXL, "When I was younger, my dream was to be an Olympian. I went to Youth Olympics and World Youth, which is one step below the actual Olympics. I ran the 100 and the 200. In the 100, I ran 10.6, and in the 200, I ran 21.4. But by 2013, well, Knight, he was getting the itch to try his hand at something else, namely making beats. Now, at first, Knight, he tried to juggle his athletic career with his musical ambitions, but it was a constant struggle. He told XXL, "Music and track, or sports in general, are like totally two different things. It's really hard to balance, especially with traveling. Track takes you a lot of places, and music takes you a lot of places. You can't really balance them both. But to me, I just felt like I just loved music more, so I went with that, and I left track grade 12. Now, Knight, he picked up a bricklaying job that summer to help fund his ambitions. Now, when he'd get home from work, he'd Google how to make beats, and he taught himself all about the programs he would need to do just that. Now, after making his very first beat, he uploaded it online under his producer name, which is KLNV, and he's been making music ever since.
Yeah, I made my first beat in summer of 2013.
What were you using?
FL. I still use FL. Yeah, FL, yeah.
Driven by his desire to perform on stage in front of thousands, Knight began adding lyrics to the beats around 2014 in the hopes that it would one day lead to performing at the Ottawa Blues Festival. Aided by friends and family who always managed to keep him grounded no matter what was going on around him, well, over time, this young man, he slowly rounded into form and became the artist we know today as Night Lovell. Now, in terms of the name he ultimately settled on, well, Lovell is taken from his dad's middle name, and Night, well, it's the time of day when a different side of this young man it comes out to play. Now, when speaking about his name, he told us, "I feel like nighttime is a vulnerable time of day for people. It changes how people act and the truth comes out." Now, most of Knight's creative pursuits are best explored during the witching hours when he's by himself and he can concentrate fully on the task at hand. Now, within less than a year of working his ass off every night, well, the man had a massive hit on his hands with the viral track Dark Light. Now, this was a beat he originally produced for his father, but one that he ultimately ran with himself.
Like, I was just putting words together to make a song. I mean, like, there's some references in there, but at that point, it was just about making a song with vocals on my beat.
Later that year, he independently released his first album, Concept Vague, and followed that up with Red Teenage Melody in 2016. Now, after that, he went dormant for a span of almost 2 years, working on his most personal album yet, Good Night Lovell, which finally dropped last year, and it included features with the likes of Suicide Boys, Nar, and Lil West. In terms of where he sees himself in the future, well, Night Lovell, he wants to become the best artist he can be to please his rabid cult fan base. And his message to those folks is a simple one: do whatever the you want to do, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright guys, I think we're going to wrap up this video here. After all, this is before they were famous. Now, major shoutouts go to Night Lovell for helping us shape the script and get it as accurate as possible to help tell a story. Now, that's always a huge deal for us and something we've been really focusing on here for 2020. And we've got like an entire playlist of tons of collabs that you should definitely check out. So now it's going to be me that's going to end this video, but in there you're going to see a link to all our collab videos. Alright, the other Michael McCrudden in the white sweater, take it away! Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Now, we drop a new video each and every day, so here's a recent drop that you might enjoy. We handpicked that one for you because if you like this video, you'll probably like that. We also got playlists like over here, so click on that if you want to see a whole list of a bunch of videos we've dropped in the past. And if you're new to the Fame Gang, be sure to subscribe and turn on them post notifications, and I'll see you guys in another video. Boom!